There's a security botch on Raw. The Big Show main events WWE in 2020. And there's speculation Paige could be returning to the ring for the Women's Royal Rumble match.
Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. Thanks for your support on Patreon, the $100 man, CD Horver. Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk Super News. I'm Ollie Davis, and to kick things off, here's the 6th of January 2020 episode of WWE Raw in about 5 minutes. After opening with a recap of Lana and Bobby Lashley's wedding from last week to remind you, yes, that is actually a thing that happened, we found out Brock Lesnar's New Year's resolution: actually show up for work. Because for every 3 cucking storylines, Paul Heyman has some genuinely good S-word as he opened the first Raw of the decade with a brilliant idea. Brock isn't going to defend his WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble, oh no! Instead, he's going to compete in the Royal Rumble match itself and enter at number 1. A match which will likely make up most of his 2020 in-ring time. It's a stroke of genius from Heyman, setting up not just a very intriguing story for the Rumble match, with all the wrestlers that can interact with Brock, but also the potential for a huge angle payoff, with whoever eliminates him getting put over huge. Come on, Keith Lee! Oh, goddammit, it's gonna be Roman Reigns. Or if he wins the entire thing, going up against The Fiend at WrestleMania. If going by past performance, it'll be the latter, as Heyman said Lesnar winning the Rumble isn't just a prediction, it's a spoiler. And every time he's used that line before, it's come to pass. We went from one fantastic segment to another, with Lesnar and Heyman hot tagging a United States Championship rematch between Rey Mysterio and Andrade. The two had an excellent pay-per-view caliber encounter, with several innovative spots and a false finish of Zelina Vega putting Andrade's foot on the ropes, making Rey look really strong until he awkwardly lost in a somewhat mistimed finish, where Andrade pinned him off a Zelina Vega distraction. Andrade ripped off Rey's mask afterwards, likely building to a hair or title versus mask stipulation later on. Like WWE's version of The Masked Singer, what a weird show. We then got another really good match with the Viking Don't Mention the War experience! Raiders retaining against the Street Profits and OC. The really good first hour couldn't maintain itself throughout the whole show though, and the episode started to level off into average, with Becky Lynch doubting her chances against Asuka, to then leave her laying in the ring with one punch. Mojo Rawley was allowed to look in Eric Rowan's cage, where he screamed and ran off shouting, "What's wrong with you, man?" Rowan then squashed an enhancement talent and forced him to look under the cloth too, where he emerged with a viscous red liquid all over his face. This is not going to have a satisfactory payoff. It's time for our weekly Akira Tozawa to be really impressive and then lose segment. Unfortunately, we didn't even get that, as AJ Styles beat him quickly with an RKO to build his very good feud with Randy Orton. Then came the standout moment from the whole show. As AJ was walking up the ramp, you could see a man in a suit speedily slide into the ring behind him. The camera then cut to the hard cam to show 2 security guards jump this dastardly invader, tackle him to the ground, and drag him out the ring. Thing was, it was the wedding officiator actor just getting ready for the following Lana and Bobby Lashley segment. El Fakador's got more on this in a bit. Not fazed by being tackled to the ground for just doing his job, wedding official guy then officiated Lana and Bobby Lashley's redo wedding to finally declare them husband and wife. But then Rusev appeared on the Titantron from the Shining Stars' Puerto Rico beach and played an unfunny photo montage of the worst moments from last week's wedding. This all fell flat, but then Rusev fired up, declaring the return of the Bulgarian Brute for a match against Lashley next week, which Liv Morgan later said she'd be in Rusev's corner for. Speaking of Riot Squad members, Charlotte Flair needs someone to beat segue. Sarah Logan made a rather unceremonious return, getting a jobber entrance to get beaten up by Charlotte because Logan stomped on her robe. Charlotte, that's a tribute. What's more Flair than beating up an item of clothing? If Drew McIntyre beating up members of No Way Jose's Sex Party conga line wasn't a babyface move enough already, he then confirmed the turn with a total post-match babyface promo. Drew was endearingly natural on the mic, joking about never liking conga lines and entering himself in the Royal Rumble match. He's also getting a 3, 2, 1 countdown chant over to set up his Claymore finisher, which is very gimmicky, but it's the sort of thing that could actually be a very effective part of his act. Aleister Black beat Shelton Benjamin for Buddy Murphy to jump him afterwards in one of my favourite feuds in all of WWE. It's just a shame the crowd don't seem to care. And the main event saw Seth Rollins and AOP go up against Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, and a mystery Big third man. Have a big one for me, which was teased really well throughout the show and then revealed to be It's the Big Show. It was the Big Show. As a babyface. He's a babyface this time. I actually love this. Big Show looked awesome. I think he's taller, and the nostalgia pops worked perfectly. The match was secondary, as Rollins hit Show with a chair for the DQ, riffing off their history together in Seth's last heel run. But the babyfaces got the stand tall in the end. That was this week's Raw in about 5 minutes. What do you think about Brock Lesnar entering the Royal Rumble at number 1? Let me know in the comments, because I'll be replying from out of nowhere. And click the eye above my head to let me know what you thought of the show, where you can choose from Rawsome, Core, Average, Poor, and Rawful. It was the best Raw of the year. It was the worst Raw of the year. It's the only Raw of the year so far, folks. But I enjoyed the heckins out of it. With Big Show's return, Lesnar in the Rumble, that great Mysterio versus Andrade match, and most importantly, the wedding official guy getting tackled by security. This week's Raw is a high core. But Lesnar and Big Show aren't the only big names potentially returning for the Rumble match. Hot tag to Laurie with the news.
Tag! Right, folks, so Ollie mentioned it briefly, but there was a bit of a balls up heading into the Bobby Lashley and Lana story on last night's Raw. And no, that balls up wasn't the entire story leading up to that moment, as you might think. So, as AJ Styles was leaving the ring following his clash with Akira Tozawa, the camera cut to WWE officials and ringside security tackling a supposed ring invader. Now, only the briefest glimpse was caught on camera, but fans in the crowd posted pics showing a bit more detail of that incident and, whoop, Who's that man? That is the officiant from Lana and Lashley's failed wedding. Now, the pastor was played by actor Rick Malone last week and had trouble getting through his duties without being interrupted by lesbian revelations, face caking, and surprised Bulgarian men, which coincidentally are Ollie Davis's top 3 Pornhub searches of 2019. This week, Malone struggled even more, though, getting tackled before he even made it to the ring. Now, according to Wrestling Inc.'s correspondents in the arena, Malone was early entering the ring, and security didn't realise what was happening, so they tackled him. A spear first, ask questions later policy. Now, according to Twitter user Dr. Sean Thurmond, who was at the arena, it took a lady running in to hand him his Bible before security realised he was part of the show. How could they not realise what was happening? Or, I guess they knew exactly what was happening and they were trying to save us all from going through it again. God bless you, security. Now, from one person fighting their way to the ring to someone else who may be fighting to make an in-ring return. Because people are speculating that Paige might be tired of being backstage and want to return to action. WWE's resident homeowner, because she can never stop shouting, "This is my house," guess she shares the yard with Roman Reigns, is set to return to WWE backstage this week, but tweeted something many are speculating could mean more involvement in WWE programming as a whole. She has, after all, just signed a 5-year deal. She said, "I get told that my glory days are over with my career and that I'm a slut because of the crap that got released about me. Just know, again, people make mistakes when they're young. I'm not that person. Also, my glory days are far from over." And she followed up with, "I have a whole lot of career left in me. 2020 will be a good year for me." Now, this has led many, including PW Insider, to speculate that she may be returning to the ring as part of the Women's Royal Rumble. Why else fire up about how much career you have left in you? Now, obviously, all of this speculation is tempered by her history of neck injury and all the issues associated with that, but a Rumble spot would be a good way to have a big career moment, but also avoid taking too many big bumps. And you've also got to take into account that neck injury has not been quite the career killer it once was, as we've seen the likes of Daniel Bryan and Kurt Angle return to action, and there are all these rumours floating around about Edge returning too, so it is not out of the realms of possibility to see Paige back. Less speculative and much more confirmed, though, are a bunch of people for the Royal Rumble, because WWE announced even more names for the men's match at the end of January. They said Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, Eric Rowan, Ricochet, Rey Mysterio, and AJ Styles have all got their spots booked to to one of WWE's most fun matches of the year. This means that they join Roman Reigns and WWE Champion Brock Lesnar in the match, with 22 spots still up for grabs. So, if both SmackDown and NXT are involved and expected to get equal billing, that means there should be very few picks left for Raw. Over on the women's side of things, though, there's still just that one name announced. It's Charlotte Flair versus 29 other women, or 28 and maybe Paige. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, drop us a comment down below, and click the videos that are over there to get even more wrestling news, review, and opinion from the guys here at WrestleTalk. I've been El Fakador, and that was Lucha.